All right, great. Well, everyone, welcome to day 2 of our virtual junior day. I hope everyone enjoyed yesterday's sessions. If you missed any of them, we're going to get them all up on YouTube soon, but tons of great information about our faculty, career services, head coaches, and financial aid and admissions. So stuff you're definitely going to want to go back and watch if you missed it. Really excited about today's panel. We have 3 amazing student athletes here to share about their experiences at Con and just all the opportunities you have as an athlete, as a student, and as a person to discover yourself, to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and really just get to know what it's like to be a camel. So I'll go ahead and introduce everyone, but if you could also give a little bit of an introduction, that'd be great, because you know yourself better than I do. First off, my name is Mackenzie Lancaster. I'm the assistant women's ice hockey coach. And I will send it to Karin Liston, who is one of the players on my team. Go ahead, Karin.
Hi, yeah, like Kenzie said, I'm Karin Liston. I'm a junior here at Con, and I am a part of the SAC committee on campus and the pre-health club. I'm a neuroscience major with a psych minor, and that's a little bit about me. SAC basically communicates with the school about athletes' wants and needs on campus, as well as community outreach, and just making sure there's a steady flow of communication between the faculty and staff and athletes here at Con. And I'm also part of Pre-Health Club. We have meetings, webinars with local health providers, and basically it's just a gateway to reach out and find connections.
Awesome. Thanks, Karin. Yeah, so SAC has 2 representatives from every team. Am I correct, Karin?
Yeah.
From every team on campus. So it's a cool way to get to know other student athletes, and then also being a part of something bigger, like nationally. All divisions, NCAA teams have student athletic advisory committees on their campus. And so you can go to events, you can go to some big stuff with the NCAA. So very cool. And then also the pre-health advising track. I'm sure many of you will have questions about that maybe, but great resource. Sydney, can you go next?
Yes. Hello, I'm Sydney. I am a senior on the women's track and field team. I am a thrower. I am an American Studies major, sociology minor, and I'm part of SGA exec, do honor council. I do some other like performing groups, and I work with admissions, doing stuff with them. So a bit of things.
Awesome. Thanks, Sydney. And Justin.
Hey guys, I'm Justin. I'm a senior. I'm on the men's basketball team. I'm a chemistry major with a math and physics minor, or double minor. I'm on the Connecticut College Athletes of Color Coalition. So that's like a group to give space towards athletes of color, to be able to like express themselves and be able to talk about issues on campus. I also just helped establish a group for the pre-health club. So the health professions for underrepresented minorities, or HPERM. I coined the name. But yeah, there's basically another space to work for students who want to go into like any type of health profession, like let it be like psychiatry or like psychology, going towards like the general medicine track, anything like that. We'll be there to talk about resources, to talk about anything of the like. That's all of what I do.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. That's awesome. And then last but not least, my colleague, Hannah. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Hannah.
Great. Yeah, I'm Hannah Vaughn. I am the assistant women's basketball coach. And so I'm just going to be helping Mackenzie just moderate and just see what information you guys have for us and have for the prospective student athletes. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely want you guys to be active in the question and answer. So if any of those things that Karin, Sydney, or Justin talked about that you want to know more about, you can just say, hey, can you elaborate on this? But I'm going to get going and kind of ask some questions more about, what it's like being a student athlete at Con. So my first question, and this was overwhelmingly asked when we asked participants to register, was how do you balance athletics and academics and social life? How do you balance it all? Any one of you can start.
I can go. I know one way I like to stay balanced, honestly, being in season is the greatest thing for me because it really makes you a lot of time for yourself, whether it's like school and then you go to your class and then you're like, okay, I have this chunk to go get lunch and then I can do my homework and then go to practice. So I think honestly, not having that strict regimen lets me procrastinate. So honestly, I think student athlete's been a great thing for me just to stay focused and have goals for myself going forward and knowing that I need to reach these deadlines because I do have other commitments on campus. It can be overwhelming at times, but just know that you have a whole bunch of resources on campus to reach out to, and lots of professors are willing to work with you and your coach to figure out something that's going to work for you. Like I've never had a challenge with a professor about missing class or getting extension because I'm really struggling in practice, like making sure that I can fit everything going. Like I've never had an issue with that. So I think that balance is difficult, but it's definitely, you can make it work, and just make sure you reach out. Everyone wants you to succeed here.
Justin, Sydney, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I fully agree with Karin. Another thing for me, like just being real with myself, is I had to learn who I was as a student.
Yeah.
So like Karin, I'm a big procrastinator too. Like I don't know when the work is gonna get done, but I know it's gonna get done before the deadline. I just don't know how stressed I'll be about it. But like once you learn who you are as a student and how you like work, it really does like fall towards itself, and you just learn how to like balance everything. So that's where I mean, realistically, like throughout the years, you struggled figuring out who you are as a person, like as a student, now to get stuff done. So when you learn that, you get it. It just makes more sense to you after.
And if I can ask a follow-up question, Justin, how do you learn who you are as a student, or who at Con maybe helped you learn that? Was it professors? Was it career services, ARC, or just yourself?
I would say so. I learned a decent amount of my own, a lot of times the hard way. I would say.
Failing.
But I definitely did have like huge support groups. I also forgot to mention like the science leaders program. So like so you have like a giant cohort of people who who are trying to go into STEM professions as well. And you have like a bunch of resources. So we have like connects to the ARC and like a bunch, and like you have like one-on-one time with a lot of professors. So a lot of times they've told me throughout the years, like start working on this thing early. Sometimes I listened, sometimes I didn't. I'm graduating at the end, so I guess it worked at some point. So I'll tip my hats off to my professors for that one.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, Sydney, we have a question in the chat asking you to elaborate on performing groups at Con, and how are you able to do sports and performing groups?
Yeah, so I'm a part of an a cappella group, an improv group, and I help produce like a show in the spring semester. And I think it's very, with the kind of thing of like balance, you just kind of have to figure out what works for you. I will say definitely you can do both if you want. Like a lot of my friends that are also athletes, I've met through my improv group or through my a cappella group. And I think it's nice because since genuinely people want you to get involved, like you work around your like practice times and like when you have games. Like I know when I was the first year, we had a couple squash players in my improv group. And so like when their season started, we were like, okay, we need your schedule so that way we can like book around that. And so it definitely is doable to do both. I will say, like, do I love having a cappella until 11 p.m. and then going to the library to do work? No, but because I enjoy doing a cappella and because I love my a cappella group, it's like I don't mind spending time doing this because I like it. So it really just is like, as Justin was saying, like figuring out who you are as a student and like how you can get your work done. But you can definitely do both if you would like. I recommend it.
That's awesome.
That's really great. I know we've talked a lot about balance so far and just like how you've learned over time. If you could go back and if you could go back to first year you and be like, take one thing that you've learned over the course of your time at Con, what's one thing you would tell your younger self or like bring with you that you've learned? that might help these incoming student athletes? Could be a skill, could be, oh, I write things down in this way. What's one thing that you think you're like, oh, I wish I had done this, or I wish I had known my first year?
I would have known the fact that the work would be there even if I take a nap. Because sometimes you spend so much time just looking at a problem or like some type of like objective or something, and you just don't get it. And sometimes you just need to walk away from it. And like you're sitting there for hours and hours. Next thing you know, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning and you still don't get it. You have practice at like 8 a.m. or something like that. You just don't understand. So like sometimes you just need to know that you need to reset every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's something I should have told myself freshman year, but I learned it on the way. So
you learned it. What about you two? Anything coming out to you?
Yeah, I totally agree with Justin. Like, just making sure you hit that pause button and like don't get frustrated. Just like take a walk. And also, like, I didn't use this at all my first 2 years at con, but like going to office hours and like really getting to know your professors and going to group study sessions. Like, I was always trying to keep to myself. Like, I just thought like that's how I worked better. But then I like realized, okay, like obviously this is not working for me. Like, there were some bumps along the way. So I just say like go to professors, like they really want you to succeed. And like if they know that you're trying, like that's very helpful. So I would say like just go to office hours. Like they want to help you, they want to be there for you. And that's helped me a ton.
That's really great.
I think senior year, I'm super nostalgic. And I'm sure you've also been thinking a lot. But I think I would kind of tell my first year self to like trust myself a lot more and like trust people around me more. And I think that's kind of like the theme of like, you don't have to go it alone, and like it's okay to like go to your professors and say, hey, like I'm not doing well. Like I'm going to admit this past week has been very tough for me, and like being able to like go to my coach and say, yeah, like I'm not doing great right now, and like having those conversations so that way, like, sorry, my dog's barking, so that way like people know and like can help you. And I think it took me a while to like not be ashamed of like not having it together all the time, but that's quite simply impossible. So yeah. I would have done that better earlier.
I love that. That's really great. I think you all sort of put the emphasis on just like sorry, I also have a cat in the background. Just knowing yourself, but also trusting others, like you said, and building those relationships. And I think, building relationships at con is really great. And there's so many great people. One question that we had come in when people were signing up was, what's the culture like between different teams and athletes making relationships with other teams or just on campus? Like what's that like, and how has that been for your experience?
So I'd say, I think a lot of times, no. I mean, a lot of times you meet a lot of people in the weight room. I would say for other, like knowing other teams. I mean, I think a lot of times just people are in different seasons. So like you don't necessarily like walk into every person every now and then. So it depends on the sport though. So like a lot of times, like for me basketball, there's all the tennis courts are in the front, so you walk by them all the time. I can't say I know ice hockey too much. It's like on the other side of the arena. So sorry, Connor, but you seem like a cool person. I just don't know. But I think over time I did see like a culture shift. So I think we are coming together a lot more than we used to. So I am a fan of that. But yeah, I think a lot of times too is that you also do get to know a lot of athletes through your classes as well. So like I'll see a person and like, oh, they're wearing like some con athletics. You're like, you just work with them, and like they'll like. It's always nice to understand, be around a person who in the same situation as you. So like through sports, it's just like they understand like, okay, like this sucks right now, but like we can get through it together. And I think that's a big way of like learning about other people.
Yeah, like there's a common understanding, a common experience that sort of brings you all together.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Sydney.
I was just going to say, like, because we do go to such a small school, which I really like, it is the case of like, yes, I'll see you in the weight room like every time I'm there, or like I have a class with you, or like we're in a club together. And so like I think a lot of it happens not necessarily like sports specific, like while we're like in the gym, but just generally like around campus, you get to know a lot of people because we are a small school, and then those connections get made where you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna come to your game, like you should come to my meet, like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there a lot of support between teams going and watching all different kinds of sports?
Yeah, I feel like at least for me, like like you said, like it's such a small campus, like you're bound to know a lot of people on a lot of different sports teams or clubs or anything. So I feel like you have more of a like personal sense, like I'm gonna go watch your game. Like I do think that that there is there if you have like a friend on a team, like I feel like it's important to go watch. I feel like we need to do that more, but I do feel like if you like have a personal connection on a team, like people go watch. But going off what Justin said, like you do meet a lot of different athletes like through classes, and even like my freshman year, like living in a dorm, like I lived right next to a basketball girl, and like that's how we became friends. It's just like common ground you guys have together. So I feel like it's just living on a small campus and just like having that community type deal, like we're all athletes and going through the same thing.
You three are all leaders as well on campus, in different spheres, whether it's on your team, in athletics, as a part of groups, and in your academics. Can you speak to how Con has allowed you to develop as a leader? Like maybe you found a passion of yours that you didn't know was there before?
I feel like for me, I'm in an improv group. I love my improv group, and like I never would have done that before. And I think as fun as it is to just like hang out with people and like be silly, it's also helped me become a lot more confident in like my public speaking and like being sure of myself. But also like a lot of the things that I really enjoy doing now are things that I was like very scared of. And especially like being a part of honor council, I like really threw caution to the wind when I ran for that. But it's not just, I think like Con is like a institution with like your coaches and your professors and administration, but I think a lot of that development, like for me, I credit to the friends I've made here and like my peers. Because like my first year, like when I got into my improv group, everyone was like, oh my God, like Allison Joyce is abroad right now. You're going to love her. She's also on honor council. And then she came back, and then like we became really good friends, and she really helped me like find myself in that group. And so I do think a lot of it comes from like having a supportive student body where like you have upperclassmen who like genuinely care and like want to take an interest in you and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, you should do this. That seems really cool. And like, so yes, a lot of it I credit to the peers, not to discount Connecticut College as an institution, but maybe I did that.
No, I mean, that's important. Like the student, that is, I think what I've seen is that the college has made it known that they want the student body to be running campus in a sense. Like student government has incredible roles. The honor council, the fact that you guys deal with each other in all matters is important, and it gives you opportunities to lead. So it's awesome.
We have a couple questions in the chat. The first one I'll just ask each of you. They want to know, were you all recruited or did you walk on? So maybe you could just briefly talk about how you chose Con maybe and that process or how that happened.
Yeah, sure. I was recruited. I am actually from Michigan, and I played in a showcase out in Boston and a couple more on the East Coast. And like that's how I got connected with my head coach and my assistant coach. And I actually had never heard of Connecticut College until they reached out to me. And I looked into it, and like just looking at it, it just sounds like a great school. So I came out and visited, overnighted with one of the girls on the team, and just had that gut feeling like I need to go here. And now I'm here, and
here you are.
Here we are.
That's awesome. What about you, Sydney? What was your process like?
Yeah, so I walked on, and I actually walked on my junior year, So I played sports all through high school, and like track was something that I really enjoyed. But I think because I wasn't recruited, in my head, I was like, well, if I'm not recruited, then like I'm not gonna continue playing sports in college, because that was just I didn't think that walking on was as common. I was like, well, if you're not gonna get recruited, then I guess you're not gonna play. And then my sister actually goes to another school, and she ran track, and so I would like go to her meets, and I was like, I really miss this. Like, I want to do this again. And so then I like talked to some of my friends who were on the team, and we're like, hey, like, what do you think? Like, how is your experience? And then I emailed the coach, and I basically said, hi, I am a thrower. These are my like stats from high school. Like, I know it's been a while, but I would really like to do this. And I had a meeting with him, and that day he was like, okay, perfect. Like, here's the paperwork you're going to need to fill out. You're going to need to get a physical, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I thought this was informational, but okay, like, I'm signing up. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, so I was recruited here too. Actually, so I'm from Connecticut. So I'm from the Hartford area. I think it was either my junior summer. I think I played in a showcase at Con. So like a lot of the games were played here. I think at the NER or something like that. But yeah, they caught notice from there from me, because me and my twin brother Austin, we both play here. So yeah, we were both playing for the team. They both recruited us over the year, like our senior year, and we did pretty well our senior year. So, but the thing was, me and Austin actually didn't commit to Con. So we actually committed to East Con. But the thing is, our parents said, like, you're going here. So I would say, listen to your parents. That's one of the big things, you know. It's like they are really looking for your best interest, and it actually worked out pretty well for both of us. Yes, that's pretty much.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes parents have a sixth sense about things, but this next question is actually for you, Justin. Someone's wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the Athletes of Color Coalition that you're a part of, and maybe just give a little background on that, what you guys do and what it looks like.
Yeah. So CCACC. Yeah. So that's it was a group that basically got started the summer the pandemic started. So last summer. That's the only summer we can think about. But yeah, so they basically started then, and we were basically, a lot of it was just the fact that a lot of people, athletes of color, didn't really know each other, or like in all honesty, like a lot of teams do have like a diversity problem within athletics, right? So like a lot of teams just don't have any people of color on it, and we know like people of color. Having diversity in any type of field is just really important, because it brings in different skills. There's a whole range of skills that maybe some people don't have, or it just mixes things up. It makes things better, you know? And in all honesty, our group is struggling with that. Sorry. But that was one thing we really used to combat. And then on top of that, we didn't know each other. So we just wanted a space for everyone of color to actually talk about their experience as athletes. So that's really where we started things off. But from now, we actually have a giant network of people. Like we have a lot of more structure than we did before. And like now we're just working on like incoming students. While like, since I'm on my way out, I'm old. So I'm really working with like alumni and trying to have like a better connection for people who like walk the path that I'm walking right now, and having them give me tips and stuff like that for all students of color or all athletes of color that are playing. That's really the big idea behind it. But it's really in its infancy right now, but it grows over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's really great. I know. So my head coach, Jackie, works a lot with the Student Athletes of Color Coalition, and she's been just blown away by the interest and how great it's gone. And I know that you guys are doing a lot of really good and important work, but also getting to know each other in a way that you didn't before. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and something cool that came out of that too is the 21-day allyship program that all of the coaches participated in at Connecticut College and across the NESCAC as well. And that was, a student-led, student athletes of color. They wanted their coaches to be more educated. Like, we're very transparent that we're not good enough right now. And that's with all different things, with ignorance, with diversity, with with how we handle certain situations. We're not meeting the mark. And so it's a real commitment with our coaching body at Connecticut College to do better in this sense, starting with education and then action, and then, eventually getting to a place one day where our teams do look diverse. And like Justin was saying, we'll be better for that because when you get to know everyone's different experiences and backgrounds, you're stronger together. So super excited and grateful for the work that those student athletes have done, and that our college has committed to making important going forward. So thank you.
Looks like we've got another question in the chat. Someone asked, how would you say safety is on and off campus? So I guess this is for all of you guys. Do you feel safe, and sort of what measures do you think the campus has taken to make you guys feel safe? I'm assuming this is not pandemic related, just overall safety.
I will say I've never felt unsafe on campus. I remember when I was a first year, and eventually I started staying in the library pretty late, and I would like call my mom while I was walking home, and she was always like, well, are you okay? Like, it's 12:30. And I was like, well, why are you awake at 12:30? You should be asleep. But and I would always say, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm walking for like 5 minutes on a well-lit path to my dorm, like chatting. I've never felt unsafe on campus personally.
Great.
Yeah, same. I've also never felt unsafe on campus, no matter the hour. Like campus safeties are always patrolling, and we have a very like honor code that's abided well by everyone. Like I'll leave my computer in the library, like go get lunch, come back, get a snack, and I can just leave all my stuff there and know that it's gonna be safe. Like just because all of us have this mutual respect, like no one's gonna take your stuff. And like I said, like I've always felt safe on campus. Off campus too, like I've felt safe, but just like anywhere, like when it gets dark, like it can be dangerous, but that's literally anywhere you go. Like that's any city. So
Yeah.
and like
Great.
New London's developing, and I think it's good.
That's awesome. Well, I thought we could end it. No, we've just got a couple minutes left. I could end it just by hearing from each of you what your favorite con memory has been so far, or like what memory sticks out to you the most. I know there are many to choose from.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I miss the parties. Like pandemic wise, it's just like, I mean, you're just here all day. Like,
yeah,
they used to be live, like a lot more live on this, like Saturdays and like Thursdays and everything. It's just you miss it. But I mean, being with friends, I think is one of the best experiences. You get to be around the people you love all the time, so it's like you can't complain too much. You give and take.
Yeah, honestly, my favorite memories are at our dining hall. Like all of our like team like sits together and like we literally just talk about our days and everyone chimes in. Like that's honestly like one of the best times I've like have is just sitting at the lunch table hearing everyone's story.
That's awesome.
Wow, favorite memory. I don't know. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's
Dog friendly over here. It's all good.
Why he's acting like I don't love him. I think all of my favorite memories have been like just like with my friends. Usually it's just like the like casual, we didn't intend to end up here, but now I'm in your apartment at 2 a.m. and you're making us easy mac and we're just like chatting, watching funny YouTube videos. I think like those like very like not special moments where it's like nothing was planned, like it wasn't a big event or anything like that, have really like prompted me to reflect and be like, I love you all.
Yeah.
God,
Just
I'm
the sweet moments. Yeah, the little moments. And the parties, obviously, Justin. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks guys. Sorry we have to wrap it up. This has been great. I wish we could go longer. We're starting a parent insights panel at 2, so we're gonna hop over there. But thank you so much, Justin, Sydney, Karin, for being here and helping these young student athletes, young adults kind of navigate their way through the process. I would also say too, I think all of our coaches at Con are really good with connecting recruits to current student athletes. That's like our favorite thing to do because they know it best, they live it. So if you want to hear more from from a student athlete, definitely reach out to your coach and ask whichever sport that you're interested in, and I'm sure they could hook you up with somebody.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Good luck, everyone.